Welcome back to Rotten Rust Garage. I'm Kevin. This weekend, I'm going to try to get some more stuff done that I didn't get done last weekend on the old Charger project here. I think the first thing I'm going to do, though, is get this thing a little bit higher in the air because I still got a lot of work to do underneath. Gas tank, fitting up the exhaust, and measuring for a drive shaft. Three kind of important-ish things that I need to get done. And I did not get much done the last go around. So I got about 3 hours today. Let me see what I can get done now and maybe a little bit tomorrow if I get lucky. So let's get started. The love of a small garage. And the garage door is going to have to come open. Dump all my AC. That's going to be cool though. No, it's going to be hot. Let's get that done. Do that. And that's a long reach. Alright, get some jack stands under this rear axle so it's sitting on its own weight. That way when I measure the drive shaft, I'll actually have the proper length measurements. No, we got a little bit to go. I'm going to try and get this level with the front for the most part. I got the front sitting on ramps. How's that looking? Oh no, we got a minute to go here. The more room I get underneath here, the better off it is. That's looking good. So I gotta get under here with a gas tank. Alright, jack stands. Man, I'm dumping all of my AC. That sucks. Alright. One more. So if you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I worked on this a while back. It's obviously, this trunk is rusted out, okay? There's still a lot of good metal here, but it's junk. It all needs replaced at some point. Someday, not today. However, I still want to get a gas tank in because I'm not going to be messing with this yet. But I also don't want giant holes in the trunk floor that exhaust can just come right back into the car. Although it'll probably almost always be driven with the windows down. That'll still suck. So what I'm going to do is something, you know what, probably shouldn't even share this with you all because a lot of people out there get rattled if you do something that's not perfection and isn't, you know, like restoration quality or whatever on an old car that they love. I'm telling you, sometimes you just, you know, you do a couple little things just to keep moving forward, knowing full well I'm going to come back someday and cut all of this trunk out. It's in the lower quarters a lot. This car is going to be taken apart nut and bolt. But I want that to be like 5 or 6 years from now, closer to when I'm retired and I can spend every day out here loving on this thing. Right now I just want to damn drive the thing. So anyhow, what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to try it. It may or may not work. We'll see. But I'm going to try some kill mat. Since it's nice and sticky, I can cut it into whatever shape I want. And I'm going to go underneath, and this has all been painted underneath, and I'm just going to cover this whole area with that kill mat. Probably a little bit from the top too. All I want to avoid with using the kill mat is anywhere that I'm going to be drilling out spot welds in the future. So that presents a little bit of a problem right here on this frame rail cap. There are spot welds somewhere in there, but the rust is kind of hidden them. There's one for sure. There's one. You can kind of feel them. There's one. But I might just cut a narrow piece and put it right over that. And then a couple of little pieces up under here just to cover these plugs. I probably still got plugs, but that one won't plug because it's obviously not round anymore. Probably just a little piece over this, although that whole metal bracket underneath here, that's the gas tank support from frame to frame. That's got to go back in the new trunk pan, so that'll have to all be cut out of there. So Again, a lot of people aren't going to like that, but you know what? It's my car, that's what I'm going to do. And if it just gets me a little bit further down the road, give me a couple more years, there's enough trunk here to last for a while. It's just really bad right here. And I know this thing, even though I'm going to put a new seal on it, I know it's going to end up with water in it, right? Probably leaks along the back glass somewhere. You know, I still got to patch a hole in the outer wheel well there. I can do that any point in the future. So, that being said, I'm going to get started with that. Then the gas tank can go up. So, I've never actually used this stuff. I've had it in a box for a long time, but instead of like trying to, you know, zip screw some aluminum or, you know, tin or something to the top, because I obviously don't want screws coming through. Oh, gas tank's going up here. And there's a mat that goes between the gas tank and this floor. So I figured this stuff will be just fine. Let's see how well it sticks. It's supposed to be pretty daggone sticky. And let's see how badly I can screw this up. I did kinda measure it. It appears to be sticking pretty daggone good. Try and get it in between these ribs here. Like that. Huh. And then yeah, it does a pretty good job of forming itself to a very complex contour of the trunk floor. But what I'm thinking is if I get a good stick on the bottom here, I can probably go up top and have adhesive to adhesive. And again, this is not going to impede me in any way when this trunk floor gets cut out. Now this stuff has got little raised bumps on it, so you're supposed to use this little roller guy here to make sure that it sits all the way down. Yeah, good job. Yeah, this is perfect. Not going to be that anal retentive about it, but I'll just give it a couple of rolls here. That way it feels like I installed it properly. But I got to be careful so I don't push my roller right through all of these holes that I'm attempting to cover. How good, the roller doesn't fit up through there anyway. This has little raised bumps on it. I don't know if the camera's catching that, but as you roll this, they go down, showing you where you've rolled and where you haven't. And I think this will do a good job of keeping fumes out, and if I get caught out driving in the rain, maybe it'll keep some spray out of the trunk, some moisture. I got new seals for the tail lights and everything, so I really want it to, I want to try to keep it dry in there. Oh, hey, there's a dirt dauber nest that needs to come out of there. Up in the frame. Nice. Well, that's super. I'm going to have to get the vacuum on that, the air hose. Anyway, squirrel. Yeah, I think this is going to be just freaking fantastic. So, if you're a hater of this, bring the comments. I get it. I get it. This is not going to do any harm to this rotted metal. Trust me. All right, so you've seen what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to go around and just do a couple of little pieces here and there, maybe some up top, yada yada, some down below. And then put the pad on the tank, get my straps hooked up, and let her rip. I think that's the back of my strap right there for the J-hook. Yeah, I gotta remember. All right, talk to you in a minute. Now I know what you're thinking. This looks terrible. Well, it won't underneath of a trunk mat. But also, like, man, that's redneck. Well, of course it is, man. I'm not going to try and put metal on where that's bad, you know. There's a couple of tiny pinholes that I'm going to come back with a little bit of the howdy hoop there. Little butyl body filler, or I'm sorry, seam sealer. Just a couple of little pinholes. But I gather that's what this kill mat is basically aluminum-backed butyl. It sticks pretty good. Now, I did test tear a piece back up to see what I've got in store for me in my future, but I suspect that'll change once this thing's gone through a bunch of heat cycles sitting out in the driveway. It's a black car in August. That's probably never gonna come off of there again. But it's beautiful, so it's waterproof. This is on top and on the bottom. Same thing here. Now I've got some body plugs in. That's just dirty. Got some body plugs in, but I'll be damned if the little plugs I have, this is just like a 1/16 smaller than this size. And that one, boop, right in. This one will not. Kind of the correlated one on the other side. I don't know what that's there for. but I gotta find a plug that fits it. And you know what these are for, though, is that all these body plugs go in. Those are on probably pins to hold the car or the panel in position while the car was put together and spot welded and everything on a jig, basically. And that's what all those holes are for. Not that one. That's for the this guy. And that's going to be for my, see, he's got his little plug on there already. It's going to be my fuel sending unit, which is right here. Now I got to drag I got to find my J-bolts. There's the old tube. And I got to find the J-bolts. I got the straps right here. And somewhere there's some J-bolts. Oh, let me dig around for a minute to get this tank under the car, get this thing hooked up, and find my J-bolts. Then get the what you call it inside the thingamabob there. Cool. Ooh, boy, pretty good storm moving this way. I think it's just gonna be a quick line go over us, and it smells great though. All the ozone, I guess, the heat on the asphalt and the rain hitting it. A little windy. Cool. Alrighty, so here's the new tank. Locking ring. I think, yeah, this is the one that came with the tank. I'll try that first. This one came with the sending unit, but let's see here. Set this camera down and pull this out. Here's the thing. I'm pretty sure my fuel gauge isn't going to work. This thing's pretty nice, though. Yep. And that's going to be down at the bottom, so you just got to fish her in here. Like that. And it appears to be keyed in 2 places so that you can't get it wrong. Something like there. Well, it is keyed, but it don't want to go into those key spots. Interesting. Well, I still need to get a gasket on it, right? Let's do that first. That'd probably be the smarter thing to do. It's a nice piece, though. I don't know why these tabs don't appear to want to go into their little slots there. They're offset. Let's just try one more time. Interesting. Yeah, it does not want to go into those slots or sit all the way down. Well, like anything bolt-on these days, I'm gonna have to mess with it. Those tabs are too wide to go into the slots right there. That's all there is to that. Come off this way too. Yep, that's all there is to it. Be just like that. Is it just me, or does everybody else struggle with new parts that should go right together? Holy crap. Yep. That one goes there. That one does not go there. Alright, folks, let me mess with it like every other part I buy. This is a piece of crap, and it is a battle. It is a battle, and I bet you it ends up leaking. I had to file down the top tab, but the thing is, I had to bend the tube a little bit because it's hitting the bottom, holding the top out as well. So this does not want to go on there right now. I think I got it started on all 3 tabs, and I think now all I got to do is hammer it around to lock. But man, what a chore this stupid thing. These are supposed to be pretty straightforward. See that? Look, it's knocking the whole damn thing sideways. poorly fitted. I'm not even getting it to spin. It's just knocking it side to side. Great. See, you can see that in the camera very clearly. I am not spinning it. I'm knocking it side to side. There it goes. Jeez, little Pete's. Well, she'll probably leak. I think it's on there as far as it's gonna go, folks. I think, yeah, I'm up to the bubble. Man, that thing's on there. One more little love tap. That's good. Yeah, there's not enough room in this place. I can tell you that right now. Whew, this is gonna be good. Put all that stuff in the way. All right, it's in the kind of general position now. Then I gotta shove it back up through there and get a J-bolt connected. I've already hung those up in there. And I've got the filler neck seal in there. Oh, you know what? I need to put this pad back on it. I cleaned this off. And this would go this way. Little isolation pad. It's gonna fall all over the place, so I probably should get some Gorilla Tape and just hold it on. Otherwise, it's just gonna slide right off, and you know it. Let me do that. Let's see how this goes. This is gonna be like a monkey and a football. Whoop! Up you go. All the way to the back. Oh, lordy. Are you up against the floor? Nope. You're not where you need to be. How about there? That looks reasonable. Definitely seems like it'll do it. Oh boy. The straps need to be a little bit more. Interesting. How about that? Interesting. Right where it needs to be. Maybe go back a little bit, but this tank appears to be a little different than the last one because these straps are bent a lot different. Cannot get it to catch the J-bolt. Interesting. J-bolt ain't long enough, folks. Should be. I'm about an inch short. Well, hell. Okay, team, I'm under here. And man, it's been a struggle. Holy crap. So I got the straps bent to more match this tank, which is a different shape because the straps retained the old tank shape. Sure looks like a Charger tank, but you know, something's different. So ended up having to get out the old beater loose thing here and hammer in these pinch welds some, and that is all the J-bolt I could get through there. I got one thread or two threads on there, if you can even see that up in here. And yeah, these J-bolts are too short. This has been a wrestling match to beat all wrestling matches. So let me get a wrench on that and tighten that one up a little bit. Then, crap, sorry about the filming, folks, but it's tight under here with this guy. And well, of course I brought a 1/2 inch, not a 9/16. That's how it goes for me, folks. I'm gonna get this camera out from under here and I'm gonna finish the job without worrying about it. Well, it was painful, but success. So the J-bolts aren't too short. There's, you know, 1 inch sticking through. Just had to hold my jaw right, slow down a little bit, press her up with the old jackalator, and hammer these pinch weld seams in some and wrench them down. So tank installed. That's a little rattly. I'm sure that won't bother me when I'm driving. All right, folks, I'm learning things. And, you know, when you take something apart 11 years ago, yeah, well, shoot, I don't know, 13 years ago. Anyhow, a long time ago, when you take something apart, you think, I'm going to remember how this goes, and then you realize you don't. But anyway, so I said earlier in the video, I was trying to figure out what plugs this hole right here. Well, I'll tell you what plugs that hole. It's this, and it came off the old filler tube, and it goes this little doohickey here. I just pulled this off the old one. Goes down in there, and I guess it just vents right into the frame area there. And heck, I don't know, maybe that's why this rotted here. It seems like a pretty dumb thing. It's just, you know, so anyway, I'm just sliding that down in there, but I'm gonna have to take a break for a minute and do some digging, because I've got hardware that I've got to find. I've got to be able to find the screws for this. Here's a new gasket here for the bottom. They'll go on top of the filler neck, punch 3 holes through it, and I don't know where those screws are for this guy right here. Boom, boom, right? So feeds through all of that. This is also offset, so it only goes one way. That's it. Then the tube underneath has got to line up with it, and this has to, hang on, I can't do this one-handed, folks. This has to sit on there like so. Well, it's not going to, but you know what I'm saying. The screws got to go through there and all the way through. You can see the holes and into that filler neck tube, and then I guess this guy will slide on there and go down into the frame. Makes a lot of sense why that size plug did not fit into that hole. They're offset some. This is where the other plug would have gone, but it's too rotted out, so putting a plug in there was pointless. That's why I covered it with this stuff, just to keep out the smell. That's kind of dumb though. I don't love that design, but I need to get this thing really super cleaned up. It's pretty ratty, and God knows they don't make another one like that. That's a bizarre little rubber piece. At least it's still a little soft. Anyway, I'll clean it up, try and jam this tube down in there. Oh, you know what? I don't want to jam that tube down in there yet. Might want to put something around it first to be in my way, you know. So let me get that knocked out, and then I'll clean this off. Then I got to go find some hardware. So I got to find the 4 screws that hold this down, or new ones of that. So let me get this around. Well, let's put the sticker right on it, huh? Come on, folks. At least it came off fairly easy. I've had this for 10 years. Yeah, she's gonna sit just like that. And this is gonna really be wonky. Probably a little bit of WD-40 would go a long way on this, I think. But anyway, I gotta kind of spin it around sideways, get this thing started down into that, down there. And oh yeah, I think I'm gonna need some WD-40. That is tight fit. Woo, doggy. Yeah, let me get some lubrication on this joker. All right, stand by. All right, I'm using almost like a silicone grease. It's really Like, it's good stuff, pretty slicky and sticky, and just got it mostly all over the bung down there. Wipe my finger off on this tube. Let's see if we can get this thing to slide in this time. Should help significantly. Oh yeah, big time. All right, now it's got to twist all the way around. I don't like this either. That's kind of odd. It's got to spin all the way around for this to go upright and into position. And I need that gasket on there too. So, but I can't slide this down in there further because this guy. Oy vey! You know what? Let's go ahead and unclip that completely. That's going to help things significantly, I think. If I just get this thing off of there, let it flop. Hey, that's the way we're going to do it. And you guys probably can't see a daggone thing back here. Let's see. Alrighty. Let's see about getting this on there. Slam this down in there a little further. Spin it upright. Yep, fighting. Let's get this all out of the way. Boom. Dang. Now what we need is hardware. Daggone. Yeah, this has got to go way down this thing. Well, a challenging. That doesn't want to slide down now. I can't move this up any further. Oh, hey, that definitely went up further. Need to get these screw holes to line up better. It doesn't want to slide anymore on this. It's pinched right there. Yep. That's what I need to do, is find the hardware for that. Get it screwed down, then I can move this back into position. That's the plan. Yeah, let me find that hardware. I'll be back in a little bit. All right, I just dug through my treasure chest, marked 69 charger. Oh, hey, look, the old J-bolts. Huh. Those are definitely longer than the ones I just installed. But no matter. So I dug through and I found all kinds of goodies and stuff that, you know, check it out. Found my gas pedal. And that's a nice seal for that. Yeah, we'll clean that up and reuse it. Kick panels for the bottom trim. These are the trim corners for the back taillight panel. Found all kinds of cool stuff that I've put away. Yep, the radio bezel. Got one screw in it. Under the steering. I bagged and tagged everything except for, I don't know what these three go to. But what's important is I did find fill pipe to trunk gasket seal screws 4. And I also found filler cap screws 3. So they look reusable. These I'll pull out and check out and clean them all up. This is a bit of a challenge. I ain't gonna lie. Everything wants to go to a different direction. Alright. That one still needs to get screwed in a little more. got 2 more to go. And God only knows if those holes will line up. Let's find out. I don't know how I get to this one. Probably don't. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's up underneath of the filler neck. Well, maybe I can just push it out of the way for now. Give it a damn shot. Let's see. Just totally realized that I pointed the camera at I don't even know what. You may or may not have seen what I was talking about. And that's fine. You're not missing anything here. That's pretty tight. You know what? I want to when I get done here, I'll show you what the one looked like that I took out of here. Roached. Okay. It's going to be this 4th one that doesn't want to play nice probably, right? And kind of realizing too, I need to get this wire straightened out. It's all the loom is coming apart. All the braiding, banding, whatever you call it. I'm going to retape it all, make it look sexy. Alright, that's in. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see underneath of there, but I took a beating to get this thing in there. I don't know that I want to mess with that until this is lined up here. And see how it's laying up against the hole? It doesn't want to bend away, so I'm going to have to, this grommet's not going in there. So, yeah, I'm going to have to get some pliers or something and bend that thing. You can see I was already trying to bend it and it bent up here. Oh well, I just don't care at this point. It won't even stay in this clip up here now because it's got so much pressure on it down there. Made in Taiwan, so that's Taiwanesium, not Chinesium. How would I know? Well, because they put a giant sticker on it up there. That's kind of hidden, so we won't see it. All right, now to try and fetch this stuff through. Boy, I can't see whether or not my screw holes are even aligned up here. I guess I'll get my poker and poke. Yeah. Oh, there's 1. There's 2. And not 3. There's 3. But I'm gonna have to go fishing for screws. That's gonna be rough. It wants to sit off to the side because the pressure down below. They're off a little bit, and I don't know. Let me see if I can figure out which way to twist this. That one's so. Yeah, so it needs to go okay, clockwise a tiny bit. Let's see if that helps. A little bit, as long as I hold my jaw just right. I think I might have gone a little too far. It's not exactly centered in here either. The screws will help it do that. Okay, that one. And that one. And that one. All right. Let's try and at least get one run through. This will probably be a goat rodeo. Stay. Well, Oop, I think I caught a thread there. Got nothing here. Oh, caught a thread. Let's get this out of here. Oh, caught a thread. This gasket is wasted. Alright, I'm trying to center it up as best I can. You don't really have a lot of options here. I didn't get many turns out of that one. I definitely don't want to break this potted steel here, pot metal. I got some gaskets to crush, you know? Yeah. Oh, hey, that changed things. Does this one go more now? It does. There she goes. Oh, I think we're in business, folks. Yeehaw. I have no idea how tight to make these. Makes me nervous. I don't want to replace this probably $250 piece. It's original to the car. Well, that's super. That pin is wore out. She's been fueled once or twice. It doesn't even feel like that spring is really doing anything. Almost like that gasket's not quite on there. Very good. All right, well, that's done. Fuel. That'll rattle like hell. And now I got to get a pair of pliers, and again, you probably can't see in here very well, but I got to bend that tube out of the way. I've got to put it down into the frame more, like that. I need to hold this up here and bend that with the other hand, so put the camera down. And just like that, fuel system is in. I gotta clean out that Canon plug there before I put it on the sending unit, because it's got a bunch of crap inside of it. I'm not sure the camera is good enough to pick that up. Like a dirt dauber was up in there. I'm gonna clean that all out and then clean it up, run it down into the car. I think it runs underneath of that, the spare tire holder. I might mess with these wires this evening while I'm just kind of putzing. They're pretty rough. I need to get my tail lights back in. They're sitting over there on the top of the car. This needs a little bit of attention for sure. Yeah, and I gotta find my reverse lights too. I saw those at some point. They are around. Gotta find it. But anyway, that's it for today. I'll be back out here in the morning with a fresh cup of coffee and get what I can get done after I go to Lowe's Depot, buy a new bench grinder if they've got a decent one up there, and drop off some stuff to send back to the Amazons people, because it doesn't fit. Shocking. All right, well, with that, I'll see you in the morning. Cup of coffee. Alrighty. Next day, in the afternoon, I might add, ran the errands this morning, got me a new little, bench grinder. Although I really am going to take the other one apart and see. That's the only model they had at Lowe's, a Craftsman 2.1 amp. I don't care, as long as it spins. But I am going to take the other one apart. I suspect I can get it to go again. Maybe take that one apart. Anyway, I ran a bunch of errands this morning. Today, a little bit of time, I'm going to get those pipes on, the shorties. And then I've got all of this mess here. This is what came out of the car, okay? These are 2 1/4, and those stub outs from the downpipe or whatever you call it from the shorties are 2 1/2. So I did go up in the attic, and I bought one of these things from Amazon a long time ago. Actually, I bought 2 of them to build the exhaust for Frankenstein. There we go. And I don't want to try. This is not going to be sufficient to get, you know, this kind of setup here. But what I'm going to do is just kind of see where those sit, and then what I can possibly use here is mostly all I care about is the tip. I got to get that really good and cleaned up, and just going over the axle, and then getting whatever piping I need out of there to come off of the back of these pipes that are under there, and then try and get it to match up with all those hangers that are factory style still underneath of the car. It'll be a bit of a chore, and I won't get very far with it today, I'm sure, if I can at least just get the shorty pipes on. But I did get distracted. You might have just saw that. The tooth fairy came and dropped off this new Rajiaja. And so that made me squirrel off to, now I'm cleaning up the hardware so I can plunk the bolts down into the core support here, and then drop that sucker in here. And you know, I probably should get some hoses for it too. I did look, this factory shroud does in fact line up with at least a couple of the holes. The problem is it sits off of the radiator too far, and I'll show you that here in a little bit. It just doesn't lay up against it real smooth, so there'd be a huge gap all the way around it. I think what I'm going to do is look for something in the junkyard that I can modify heavily to work on this, instead of buying. I don't want all the aluminum shroud electric fan crap going on. I'm just going to use old flexi fan here, and that'll be just fine. I don't know if I got a fan clutch or not. I'll have to look around. I don't know if that'll accept one. Anyhow, I think that just bolts straight on. So that's where I'm at. I guess the first thing I need to do is get those shorty pipes stuck on there. But first I'm going to mess around with some other things, and I really need to clean up in here. So let me get those. I just got to get started on it. Okay, let's see what challenges we face with doing this simple task. I know that the camera's pretty much right where I need to be, and I got to fiddle with a bunch of hardware to try and get it all to go together, and you know the drill. And it's pretty accessible, I think, on this side. The other side, not so much. I'm on the passenger side right now, and yeah, you couldn't. Sorry about that. Yeah, just gonna slip these bolts through here. I still gotta get under here and tighten up all my suspension that I loosened up to mess with the other headers. But anyhow, and what's going to be key is seeing how I'd like for that to try to stay on there a little bit. How is this pipe going to fit under here? Alright, I'm in the way. This ain't going to be very simple, is it? I need hardware. Yeah. If I could reach just one nut to hold this thing in place for the time being, then I can get a washer started on another one. Just kind of hold it in place for me a little bit. There we go. Now I can try holding the washer and threading on a nut. Oops. Oh boy, what a squeeze. All right. Alright, there's one properly started, and you can hear Killian outside. Just did a major tune-up on his rig. That's gonna help him out a lot. He's put a lot of work into that thing lately, and it's gonna pay off, I think. One of these days we'll have to rebuild that engine, though. That'll be fun. Or grab another one, rebuild it, and just swap them. All right, this one's actually going easier than I expected, which is kind of nice. Now this other one back here, I don't know how I'm gonna get my fingers up in there, honestly. Can I reach over? All right, yeah, that seems to. Oop, nope. Nope. Oh, that torsion bar is just right there. Let me try it this way. I doubt y'all can even see what I'm doing, because I can't. Got her. Too many things competing for the same piece of real estate. Sorry, I'm right in the camera there, huh? Cool. All right, I think I want it to be more like that. Let me check the level back here. Yeah, I need to tighten this one. And let me get out and get another wrench. All right, this is gonna be one of those all-day affairs because, well, it's not too long of a bolt, but I can't get the ratcheting end of this wrench on there, so it's just gonna have to be the 1/8 of a turn at a time. Let me get my knee under this thing and hold it up. Oh yeah, there's the old Kevin monkeys and footballs. And I'm gonna be all up in the camera again, but no. Yep, the oil pan rail is just holding it right off of there. All right, I'm going to turn the camera off and move it and get a universal. And there you go. Bolted up in there real nice and fits like a glove right through the socket here. And good to go. And I got some glass packs on order, and hopefully I can slip a little angle off of this, get the glass packs down that way somewhere, and yeah, up and over back to the factory mounts. We'll see. That's going to be a little bit of a chore. Also just did a nut and bolt check and got everything tightened down from fitting it all up. So that was the final on all of the trans. Now I got to put the other pipe on and measure for a drive shaft. All right, this side is way harder. You can see that's dimpled in to try and get this nut in. I have to come in from the top. This one has to come in. This one has to come in from the bottom because the bolt won't slide through because of the pipe. Trying to get the third one on, and I noticed there's a gap there and it's not closing up, and that's because, well, there's no room under here, but the pipe is laying on the floorboard. So it's got to come back out, and I got to bash this in right here. All right, folks, I have to step away. I am losing my mind. One bolt, and the nut will not start on it because the split lock washer. There's only one thread, and it's a terrible spot. I cannot get to it with my fingertips, and I've tried everything to get the last nut started on that bolt for that collector, for that flange. And I love TTI, and this is my first experience with Shorty. I loved how they went in, everything. I hate this pipe. It is a disaster. I've had it out. I've bent the pipe now. I've had to beat in the floor a little bit, and still something is keeping it from laying flat on that flange. And I'm out of patience with it at this point, so I'm just going to walk away. I'm going to do something easy, and I don't know what that's going to be, but I'm not going to mess with that anymore because I am seriously about to lose my mind, and I know you've all been there, so I'll get back with you in a little bit once I've cooled down some. Wow, so painful, and man, let me just say, those transmission cooler lines and that mini starter will be the death of me. If I could rip all of that out of there and throw it into the ocean, I would do that right now. Those pre-bent lines fit like crap. I really, really, really want to get everything out of there and start over, but I'm too close for that. It's just not even worth it at this point. I'm just going to hammer them to death and don't care. That mini starter, $200 for a piece of garbage that's so bulky it doesn't fit properly, and man, it's right there in the way of trying to get that little flange. Now, I have only owned one other set of TTI headers in my life. Long tube headers to a 440 and an E-body, a Challenger, 73 Challenger. Beautiful fit. I mean, right out of the box, right into the car. No fuss, no muss, no interference, no nothing. These TTI shorty headers, the passenger side, bueno. The driver's side, junk. Absolute junk. The fit from that flange, it's clocked a little bit wrong. It was interfering with the floor. I beat the floor in. I beat the pipe down. It doesn't interfere with the floor now, but now that I got all 3 bolts tightened up, it is laid up hard against the transmission cross member. Actually, that's the torsion bar mount where I'll show you. Passenger side. Driver side. Let me pull this pry bar in here. Laid up hard and not centered in that socket, if you will. It's off to the right. If it went a little further left, that direction, it would come off of this. But look what we got here. It is a 1/4 inch from touching this trans line, which I've had to flop underneath of the trans pan here. So if I pull it back up where it should be, yeah, they touch. See that? I don't know, man. I've reached the end of my patience with this. And oh, by the way, there's the mini starter. See that gap there? It will not seat all the way up against this. And I don't even know that I can get it back out of there now because of this single nut that I can't get any tool on. Just all of it, terrible, terrible design. I'm interested to see if this thing will even start the engine, if it'll spin it. If it spins it over, I'm going to leave it like that, but I suspect it's not flush, and it's also not square. So it's just going to wear it out quicker, or, you know, tear up the torque converter ring, the starter ring on there. So big issues. It is laid up hard, and what's that mean? It means it's going to rattle me to death. It is against there. There's no bending it. It's right at the very end of the pipe too, so you can't just like dent it out of the way. It's going to be a problem, and I would love nothing more than to take these back out and send them back, really, and get my $1,000 back, because that kind of money on something that's custom fitted, and this is not like any kind of extraordinary car, some radical build with, you know, all kinds of crazy stuff on there. This is just like a normal stock 440 727, and that should fit on there. It doesn't. It just doesn't. It's a very, very, very poor fit. Again, I got the shorties because eventually this motor and engine, this motor is going into my 78 W200. That's only if I can find the NP 445 bell housing for a big block. So that's a kind of a tall order. If I can never find that though, this engine's coming out of here, and I got to figure. Like I said, I'm going to go small block someday, not today. But all right, let me get this drive shaft measured and call it a day. One last thing before I go outside and sweat to death cutting grass this afternoon is I know I've been crying a lot because I just cannot stand being under this car 8 inches off the ground, fighting with things that don't fit. And I get it, everybody. That's cars. That's old junk for you. But I will, you hear me say it all the time, bolt-on parts aren't bolt-on anymore. Well, I found an exception, right? There you go. Aluminum radiator from Summit Racing, $300, and it's sitting on the factory holes down there, and these line up. I can't believe it. This radiator's gonna work. Now again, the fan shroud won't sit on there real pretty or anything, but I got to put in the bungs for the transmission cooler lines that I want to just break in half right now because I hate them, and plumb those up. Get a top hose and a lower hose. That lower hose is gonna be a crazy one, I'm sure. I don't, from here down and around, I'll have to find that one somewhere, maybe nappy. But I got to get the rest of this garbage going, and man, hopefully be able to, I don't know, I'm dying to know if that damn starter works more than the engine running, just will it even spin this engine over? I am not going to be surprised if that starter is a piece of garbage that I have to wrestle back out of there. I just won't be surprised, because new stuff is these days, just because it's new doesn't mean it's good or that it's going to work. So all right, I'm going to go sweat and cut grass, and I'm really looking forward to that, especially after getting really irritated underneath of this car with that header flange. I don't know what I'm going to do about it. I don't want to take it off again, but man, that thing needs to be bent big time. I think I'm just going to let her rip, What else? What else can you do? So, all right, talk to you in a bit. So I think what I'll do is get my patience together, get under there, drop those 3 bolts out again. That'll be a fight, and I'm not looking forward to it. I'm going to take that pipe out, take it up to the local muffler shop, and have them put about 4 degrees more bend in that first bend. I've got it marked, and that will draw it down away from that center transmission mount / torsion bar anchor frame. I suspect the engine is not perfect in its cradle. There may be a little whoop, whoop, whoop somewhere like that, maybe up on the driver's side a little bit, because I did fight with those motor mounts. It wasn't like a perfect fit. Driver's side seemed like it's really good. Bolt went in and out. I may take those out of there and see if I can't jack up one side of the engine, the passenger side a little bit. But that was the side that wouldn't go in, right? Because it was too high in the bolt hole. I know that probably doesn't make sense. So not a whole lot of wiggle room with where that engine's going to sit. So I really don't think that's it, but I might mess with that just the same. I think the best thing, take it up to a muffler shop and have them add a little bit of bend on that to draw that thing down. So that's what I'm going to do. Well, folks, it's the next weekend, and it's late in the afternoon on Saturday. I spent all of today working on my job that I get paid to do, instead of being out here having fun. Got home pretty late last night, traveled all week, busting out of here again early on Monday and traveling all next week. So I got to tell you, like today, I am certainly not feeling like rolling around on the floor and playing with exhaust stuff. I'm going to really get my gumption up for that, because not a lot of clearance under here to fiddle with all that and kind of cobble something together for this whole girl. And to be honest, like today, I'm just kind of fiddling. Let me show you some of the fiddly stuff. Put this guy together, got my brackets on there and started to put it in. And then I realized, well, you know what? I still haven't ordered a lower rad hose. So got online with Nappy. There'll be one here, I think, Monday. Just going to have it delivered to the house. I don't feel like going anywhere. That way I can get that installed nice and easy and blah, blah, blah. I need to pull this back out and get the fittings put on for the trans cooler lines, which you can see are very much kind of close to where they need to be, but there's going to have to be some fiddling with those. Now, I know that comes as a shock, because that's all I've done is jack with those things. Marking to get this cut off so I can actually have a way to clamp this down. Figuring out how I want to route this fuel line, because I don't have a hard line. Figuring out if I want to get the stuff for a 5/16 fuel line and make a metal one. Look a lot better. I got to get a fuel filter stuck in there. Then once that's done, I could stick the alternator on. Just fiddly things. You know what I mean? Nothing really entertaining or very particularly interesting. And there's a laundry list of all that stuff. I need to mess with some electrical inside of the car so that when the time comes, it's actually going to fire up. Hopefully that time's coming pretty soon, but there's so much to do, and I'm wore out today. So I think I'm going to wrap this video up so that I can spend a couple hours tomorrow afternoon editing it, and if I get after it in the morning, I might add that in there, but more than likely it'll just have to go into the next one. So I won't have time this coming week to edit, so that's the way it goes sometimes. You never get done as much as you want to, but again, it's a project. I knew it was going to take some time, and there's no need to rush or cut corners now that I getting a little bit closer towards that glorious day where I get to actually dump gas down in here and fire it up. So stick with me. I know it's a long road, but that's the way projects are, especially when you're a weekend warrior. I bet a lot of y'all have the same thing. We're not these YouTube wonders that spend 6-7 days a week in their shop 8-9 hours a day churning it out. So I'm envious of those folks, man. I'd love to retire at some point and do just that. Spend all day in my little world out here. Hope you enjoyed it, and please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll talk to you again real soon. So have a great weekend. Thanks for watching Rock Bus.